There are many reasons to wait for Fridays, and one of them is definitely the arts and culture coverage. We have our culture correspondent, Yeong here in the studio. Happy Friday, Yeong.
Happy Friday, Tommy. Thank you for having me.
What do you have for us tonight?
Right, Tommy. So as Korea continues to deal with record low birth rates, many districts are rethinking how they can make their communities places where children can actually thrive. And one of the approaches that are gaining renewed attention is the UNICEF Child-Friendly Cities initiative. I decided to take a visit to Korea's very first child-friendly city, which is Seongbuk-gu district in Seoul, to see what the model looks like on the ground and also listen to what those actively participating in the initiative had to say about it. So let's go ahead and take a look together. A city where children are not only protected, but also heard, respected, and actively involved in shaping their communities. Under UNICEF guidelines, cities must show sustained progress in child participation in decisions that affect them, safety, access to culture and play, and child rights-based governance before receiving official child-friendly city certification. Over the past decade, South Korea's first child-friendly city, Seongbuk-gu, has expanded its youth councils, strengthened child participation and budgeting, and opened new child-centered community spaces. One of those spaces is the Seongbuk Youth Center, where young people gather to debate issues, draft proposals, and develop practical civic projects.
There are already many educational programs for children in Seongbuk-gu, but I think it's even more meaningful when children themselves can propose the kinds of education they feel they need.
Because places like the Youth Culture Center provide a safe environment with instructors and support for a variety of activities, I can really feel that Seongbuk-gu district respects and supports children in a meaningful way.
Here, children also learn confidence, communication skills, and the sense that their opinions matter.
The different experiences and encouragement they receive here will eventually become valuable resources in their lives when they need them. And importantly, they are no longer seen simply as beneficiaries in need of help, but as key members of the community who live and grow alongside us. And that's the foundation of creating a truly child-friendly culture.
UNICEF says the true measure of a child-friendly city lies in rights-based governance that treats children as full citizens, a priority made even more urgent by Korea's low birth rate.
Given the era of extremely low birth rates, creating child-friendly cities carries significance not only for advancing children's rights, but also as a key strategy for ensuring the long-term sustainability of our society and our country.
With more municipalities joining the initiative, South Korea aims to raise children on a foundation of respect and build communities where their voices are genuinely heard.
Those children look genuinely happy on the screen. Now, Yeong, it's a meaningful initiative. Then, what are some of the plans or things that Korean municipalities have to prioritize going forward?
Right, so South Korea has been working the UNICEF Child-Friendly Cities framework for more than a decade now, and we've seen a lot of meaningful progress from the expansion of youth councils to formal systems that allow children to actively participate in policy discussions. But sustaining this nationwide actually requires support beyond the local level. Child-friendly cities demand long-term resources, legal backing, and unified standards. So national level involvement is essential if all children, regardless of where they live, are to receive the same rights and opportunities.
You know, like I mentioned, they do look happy, but what do they really think? After all, their opinion really matters, right?
Right, it does. And on that, how about we hear directly from one of the students who also happens to be the chair of the Seongbuk Youth Council.
I think a child-friendly city is one where children can make their own choices and actively participate. We do have activities like our youth council, but only a small number of students get to experience that. To strengthen participation rights, I think we need more education and programs in familiar places like schools, so that many more children can be involved.
Exactly. There's always room for improvement for our children to thrive for our future generations. Now, are there any other international models that South Korea can really learn from?
Yes, and this is actually something I discussed with the UNICEF official I spoke with.
Okay.
So countries like Iceland and Austria jointly operate the certification system with UNICEF as part of their national child rights policy. However, in Korea, certification is currently managed only by UNICEF Korea, which can put limits on how far local governments can go on their own. But UNICEF is now encouraging the central government to adopt a shared model as other countries have, so local efforts can be supported by national policy, funding, and legal structures. And this kind of partnership would really create a more consistent environment for children all across the country. And ultimately, the hope is that this will lead to stronger, more consistent policies and overall better environments for all children across the country.
I really hope so, Ye-young. Thanks for coming in tonight.
And thank you for having me, Dami.